Now, this was more like what Sapphire had in mind. An entire line of flaxens lined up outside the mansion, all being watched nice and close. There were questions being asked back and forth and a fair few protests, much as they had expected. When they had everyone out in front and lined up nicely, Tiguan lowered a wing to let Ray down, Balathon lending a hand. "So, is that everyone?" Victoria questioned, looking at Jamila, who was looking just as pissed as when they showed her the warrant. "Yes, sure, everyone's here, this fine morning." "Very good. Yields, take a census and let's get started," Victoria replied, looking over the line of flaxens, standing still. "Well, get on with it," Jamila protested. Victoria did not reply, standing there for a second longer, before turning back to Sapphire and the rest of them. "Now, Ray, same procedure as in the prison cell. We need you to point out the woman you saw. No one's going to hurt you here today. Tiguan is going to make well sure of that." "Thanks. I'll try," Ray answered, clutching her crossbow, which luckily for Sapphire's nerves, wasn't loaded. "What is this, Ashore? You pay some poor girl off the street to point at someone for you?" Jamila questioned, clearly not impressed. "Whatever they paid you, girl, I'll pay more." "They, didn't pay me, ma'am." "Oh, shush, of course they did. Just tell me what it was and we will sort it out so we—" "I'm gonna have to request that you do not influence the witness, or I shall have to remove you," the city guard captain interrupted in a hard tone. That did shut up the woman, at least for the time being. "Ray, was it?" "Yeah," Ray replied, shrinking down a little. "Very good. I'm Captain Bruno, by the way. Might I recommend that we simply walk the line, and then you tell me who it was behind friendly Tiguan here?" "Okay," Ray replied timidly. "Come on, girl, you can do it." "Very good. Now we just take it nice and slow." The two of them had walked the line ever so carefully, Ray looking over everyone present. Victoria and Euless were following along with Dakota and Sapphire. Euless was noting down the names of all present and reading them aloud for Ray, while Saph and Dakota were just looking for anyone they knew. There were a few familiar faces, mostly from Lady Flaxen's entourage that had followed her to the keep, and of course the woman who had tried to bribe them. A few of them had copper or silver bands on their horns, and Ray was clearly paying attention to them. The old lady who had come out to greet them even had both gold and silver, though no one here had the gold cappings the lady had been carrying. It was mostly small, narrow bands. Making it to the end, they turned away, going behind Tiguan as he turned flank on to give them some privacy. "You two walk off a bit, would you? I want your opinions untainted," Captain Bruno went, gesturing at Balathon and the city guard sniffer they had brought. "So, did you recognize anyone?" the captain tried, in a soft, calm tone, directed at Ray. "It was her. Second to last one, 2 silver bands and the emerald earrings with 2 gold rings in the ears above them. She likes symmetry," Ray replied, still holding her head low, as if she needed to apologize. The captain looked a little taken aback by the accuracy of the statement. "That would be Nevera," Euless replied, looking down at the census. "You sure about it?" Ray shrank down a bit further at being questioned, Sapphire putting an arm around her to straighten her up. "We just need the truth. Don't tell us one just to make us happy. Did she do it?" "It was her, I swear," Ray replied, trying to turn away from Sapphire, who just grabbed her by the shoulder and took her into a hug, patting her back. Now, it's fine. You don't need to be scared here." "Should I move?" Tiguan questioned, looking down at the two of them as Ray began to sob. "I think you're right where you need to be. Captain, I think we got what we needed," Euless replied. The captain gave Ray a pat on the back before turning away, going back to the line of flaxens. Sapphire held her ground, standing with Ray, as the woman began actually crying into her. "What's the matter? Something wrong? They are not going to hurt you," Sapphire tried as softly as she could manage. Dakota walked up behind her, whispering to Saph's ear. "I think it's been a while." "Well, good thing we can make it last then," Sapphire went, rocking back and forth a bit. "Thank you," Ray got out between sobs. Saph patted her on the back again. "No need for that, just let it out." And let it out she did. Crying Sapphire a small river, looking around at the other Hashors and guards, there were some fairly uncomfortable faces, most looking away when Sapphire's gaze fell on them. "You sure I shouldn't move? She doesn't seem happy," Tiguan tried again. Just stay right there," Dakota beckoned, the dragon looking at her, surprised, before looking to Euless, who just shrugged. The lieutenant actually looked quite pleased to Sapphire. Okay," Tiguan replied, not moving a muscle, though clearly tense. "You just take your time," Now, sniffers, one at a time. I don't want to see any gestures at the suspects. If I can have 3 confirmations that I want them. You may begin, the captain ordered from the other side of Tiguan. The big black barrier at least kept the Flaxlands' gazes away. Shouldn't he eat something? The kind old lady went as she returned to the room, setting down a bowl. I also got you some more of the porridge to help with the blood loss. It couldn't hurt. Yeah, he should eat. Let's get him up. Quinn went from the sideline. Unkai let go of Tom, allowing Tom to draw a deep breath as the pain at least sort of faded. Quinn was clearly better at this than Unkai, who in his defense had just learned the technique about half an hour ago. Or was it an hour by now? Fuck it, he had no idea. Quinn's treatment had been very uncomfortable, but as long as he stayed still it was tolerable. Unkai's really wasn't. That was a constant ice-cold hellish pain, and Tom didn't dare take more painkillers in his current condition. He was fucked up bad enough as it was already. The cold feeling lingered, paired with some serious soreness, so he took a second to appreciate the slight relief before being sat up in the bed by Unkai and Quinn. Unkai grabbed the plate to start feeding him, Quinn not letting go of his shoulder. Like hell you are, Tom cursed, taking a slice of bread off the plate himself. Soggy bread, water, foul herb stuff, and the whiskey is all gone. What kind of hell have I created? God damn it, it hurts, Tom cursed to himself, as he chewed on the rather stale bread. Now, young man, don't be so stubborn. They are just trying to help, the old lady tried, sounding a tad cautious. If he was less stubborn, I think he would have died some a while ago, and a lot of other people certainly would have, Unkai went, sounding a bit apologetic. Dill wasn't quite sure if he should be pleased or annoyed, but it hardly mattered right now. How long's it been since you got this idea? Tom questioned between bites. Less than an hour, Unkai responded, maintaining the apologetic tone. You have got to be shitting me. Can you still see anything? Quinn interrupted. Yeah, but it's not gotten any worse. It will, though, Tom stated coldly. It will come back right, or maybe Quinn can fix it, the lady tried with cautious optimism. Don't know, I'm not a healer. It might go completely. Then I'm fairly sure it's not coming back. Oh, bullywug, the old lady let out, sounding distressed. Do your best, okay, Quinn? I believe Jackie would not take kindly to us failing if she makes it. Tom heard the lady walk out the room, her claws clacking as she walked. She won't fail. The question is if she survives the attempt. Fucking shit day, Tom cursed to himself in a low tone, taking another piece of bread. You are both sure? The captain went in a hushed tone. Yeah, it's Yrrol, right? That perfume stinks to high heaven, Balathon replied, also keeping his voice low, followed by an affirmative nod for the city guard sniffer. That was easy, Sapphire chuckled to herself, still clutching Ray tight. Even though the crying had stopped, it was clear she needed this right now. It was the damn least she could do anyway, if they had just found the link to the Flaxlands. Sapphire really wanted to see the looks on their faces, though, when the Flaxlands discovered they had been found out. How is she doing? Victoria questioned, looking to Sapphire. I think we just need a bit longer, Sapphire replied, looking to the Colonel. No, I'm fine. You have things to do, Ray went, pulling back from the embrace with a sniff. Thank you. I'm Sapphire. Call me Saf. Thanks, Saf, Ray replied, looking at the ground. Hey, chin up. You have done well. Now you just sit back and relax while we go sort some things out, okay? Sapphire tried, with a bit more optimism in her voice. Ray sniffed again, but she did look up with a bit of a smile. Happy to help. And help you have. Now let's break the news to these people, Victoria went, still sounding calm and professional, even if her voice had risen enough that the Flaxlands could likely hear her. After you, Colonel, Captain Bruno went, gesturing for Victoria to lead the way. The small procession walked out from behind the cover of Tiguan, who swung his head around again to see what was going on. So, Jamila, I think I need to address you first. You do of course deny any involvement in last night's kidnapping attempt by either you or your family as currently acting senior member of said family? Yes, I deny any such ludicrous allegations, Jamila dismissed. Very well. Then I assume your defense is that Navarra Flaxen acted on her own initiative rather than in the family's interests when she hired a team of mercenaries to kidnap Balathon for the purpose of extracting ransom. Said ransom believed to come in the form of charges against your family's lady and your family as a whole being dropped? Oh, would you look at that? Sapphire mused, letting an evil grin creep onto her face as she revelled in the confused and terrified faces before her. Many of the Flaxens were taken to look at this Navarra, who was looking like a cornered rat ready to bolt. Victoria apparently agreed, gesturing for two of her family's guards to grab her. Sapphire had seen her before too. She'd been accompanying the bitch to the keep. I hope you have some serious proof of all this, Yrrol, Jamila protested with the by now usual venom in her voice. I have 2 mercenaries in custody who have pleaded guilty, one after having his mind cracked open like an egg. I have personal effects from the Vera left at the scene, an independent eyewitness who saw the whole thing, and a central verified twice. Your move. May I have a discussion with Navarra? Under 4 eyes? Jamila replied, her face going strained and tone softening. Best I can do is 6, Victoria replied, though I think the good captain here might interject too. Aye, I prefer to be present as well. Jamila looked around a bit, her eyes landing on Navarra as she was hauled out of line and manacled. Fine, Jamila responded in a tone that betrayed she definitely wasn't fine with that. You 2 follow me, the rest of you stay out here and don't move, Jamila went, turning to the line of flaxlands before turning to walk up the stairs, Victoria and the captain following, with Navarra in chains. Why didn't you say something? Dakota questioned, looking to Dakota, who was standing next to her. I'm neither impartial nor the head of the investigation. She might as well just say it out here then. I'm sure Victoria will crack her though. Tiguan swung her head down next to Yilds to try and whisper, at least as much as a dragon can. Yilds, she's leaning on me, the dragon went, clearly trying to keep his voice hushed, though he still sounded excited to Sapphire. Well, then let her, Yilds replied in a friendly tone. I know. She's sleeping too, I think. That was quick, Sapphire mused to herself, as she continued to look at the line of flaxlands, which had now devolved into arguing and squabbling. From what Sapphire could make out, they were either genuinely surprised or very good actors. Accusations were being flung around of lies and deception, along with arguments over who knew what was going on, mostly being countered by everyone claiming they had no clue. Look at them squabbling like kids, Dakota let out after a bit with a chuckle. It seems they even lie to each other. What a travesty. As time went by, there was still no sign of Victoria returning, and everyone, especially the line of flaxlands, was growing increasingly anxious. Okay, would someone explain what's going on? I remember you 3, what happened? The woman who had tried to bribe them let out, sounding confused, but Sapphire reminded herself that could easily be fake. Sapphire was about to speak when Dakota beat her to it. You want the whole story or just last night? Well, we know you executed Dashi for no reason, and then you apparently insulted the lady so much she struck one of your huntresses and disrespected the colonel. Abeline, was it? Dakota tried, receiving an annoyed nod in reply. I think we had better start from the beginning. Your dear Dashi made a deal with some nasty individuals and led a small army of darklings to our doorstep, betraying Archon, the dragon he was serving, in the process. Then he proceeded to let them into our keep, betraying us. Oh, come now, that is ridiculous, a smaller-looking guy protested from the line. Shut it, Twiggy, Sapphire shouted at him, very much not so pleased with Dakota being interrupted. Not to mention she'd heard those protests too many times by now. Dashi was tried and pled guilty to all charges, Dakota continued, holding a pause to look at the flaxlands, clearly testing for another response. None came, though. We executed the traitor and thought that was the end of it. Volson was given the responsibility of telling everyone back here what happened. Then, over a month later, your lady shows up and spends several days berating and insulting everyone she comes across, making accusations of treason, gross ineptitude, and other curses that should not be repeated. We were slightly baffled at the intensity of her response for a while. That was until my oldest childhood friend Esmeralda figured out Dashi was, in fact, your dear lady's lover. Dakota held another dramatic pause, expecting outrage from the assembled dragoness before her. What she got was a lot of gawking faces and a few turning to each other to nod in agreement. What the fuck? Sapphire questioned herself at the display. That explains a few things. Continue, Abeline went, gesturing to Dakota, who took a second to get going again. Right, yes. Anyway, Essie made her discovery known for all to hear, which Lady Flaxen clearly didn't appreciate. So much so, in fact, she stabbed Esmeralda with a dagger coated in green dragon poison. That did get a response from the Flaxens. Fresh accusations of lying and treachery flying out. You are seriously suggesting that Our Lady attempted to murder someone in plain view? Silence, you useless cretins! She said it in the damn greeting hall in front of more than 10 people! Sapphire shouted at them, trying to overpower the cacophony of accusations. She even pretended to get into a fight with Essie first, just so she can get in nice and close before stabbing my friend in the gut, like the fucking coward she was. She even drank her antidote beforehand, pretending to calm her nerves with alcohol. And now that we come here seeking justice, you try to bribe us, threaten us with mercenaries hunting us in the night. I know you've even tried to kidnap one of us. So excuse us if we don't like you very much, nor your constant denials right to the face of those who have seen every little thing you've done. You tried to kill my friends and my family, so shut the fuck up. That at least yielded a bit of silence as the bickering stopped, all eyes turning to Sapphire. But we have done no such thing. We merely wanted the charges dropped. 500 gold should be more than sufficient for assaulting someone, combined with the insults rendered. Adeline protested, breaking the silence, though her tone was not the rash, disrespectful one so commonly employed thus far. Are you deaf? You didn't assault us, you tried to wipe us out and damn near killed Essie. She's still sick. And the charge against us was treason, a charge which the bitch you call a lady tried to back up with fabricated evidence. You will not refer to our lady as such? What is this false evidence? One of the guys that had accompanied the bitch to the keep questioned harshly, clearly not convinced. Oh, you fucking know, you piece of shit, Sapphire cursed to herself. Well, for starters, she lied to the royal guard that Darklings had been spotted at our keep. They're trying to trick Baron into burning it down for good measure. Dakota interjected in a calmer voice than what Sapphire could currently muster. I think that is all for the trial, though. Today is the whole hiring people to break into a tavern to kidnap someone, and then try to kill us when we gave chase to get our friend back. But we didn't hire anyone, right? Someone Sapphire didn't know questioned, turning to their fellow Flaxens and receiving nods of approval. So, the mercenaries pay for themselves? Maiko interrupted with a sarcastic chuckle. What if you pay them just to set this all up? The same guy replied again. Sapphire drew a breath to have another go at him, when she felt someone very lightly patting her shoulder. She quickly swung her head around to see Ray standing there cautiously. It's all good, right? She went, looking at Sapphire reluctantly while clutching her crossbow tight to her chest. Sapphire let out the breath she was holding, forcing a smile onto her face. Yeah, it's fine. We just need to wait for Victoria, and apparently these idiots think we hired mercenaries to kill ourselves. But how about you? Oh, I'm fine, Sapphire replied, drawing another deep breath, letting it out with a sigh. No, you're not, Ray went, this time taking Sapphire into a hug. Looks like the cripple likes you at least, someone joked from the line of Flaxens. Sapphire stiffening a bit as she felt Ray let go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass. Oh no you don't. You don't apologize for existing. Come now, I think it's more friendly back here. Sapphire cut her off, leading Ray back around Tigran for a modicum of privacy. I see why you didn't need to pay her, you just gave her a ride, didn't you? Whoever the arsehole was continued. Oh shit. I have only just met you, but I wouldn't mind seeing you unhappy, Tigran went, craning his head over the arsehole. Sapphire turned to look and saw a terrified-looking guy looking up at a now genuinely angry dragon. Think your friends here are willing to prevent me from making your day very unhappy? The answer was clean no, as the people next to him took a few steps away. She's just a cripple, relax. Like your scars, by the way, freshly polished? I would shut up if I were you, Yrrol warned calmly. No problem, the guy let out, shrinking down as Tigran bared his teeth. An arsehole, but not a complete idiot then. What a shame, Sapphire cursed, continuing to lead Ray away. But am I a cripple? Ray tried, seemingly confused. He wasn't even that mean. Hey, if I've learned anything in the last few months, it's that you don't need to fly to be incredible. So chin up and don't take shit from anyone, okay? What do you mean?